After watching that Netflix shit that Cinquetta produced, I don't trust no celebrity. Thank you, God. I never went to nobody party. That's why I never do no feature. I don't go to studios. Thank you. I'm not even hot no more. Nobody even requesting me. All that shit, bro. I'm Cinquetta. You showed me something, man.
Do a good job of laying it at his feet. I was pissed by episode 2.
Really?
I was absolutely pissed by episode 2.
Pissed at the doc or pissed at Puff?
Yeah. Puff.
Oh, okay.
Never, those aren't the type of parties that I go to. Don't frequent those type of parties, and even if I go, like I said, been doing Diddy parties for 15 years, and I must say you never let me down, Puff. Ain't no party like a Diddy party. Good times, people. I've never seen any of this. When I hear about it, when did that happen?
The Diddy Combs Reckoning, did you check it out?
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay, so we know that you were saying that it was not going to come out. So how do you feel that it actually is out now?
I honestly thought, based on like moral codes and like coming from where like a street ethic, I honestly didn't think that he would ever do that.
Why though?
Because I wouldn't.
Even though
that would be a good question. Why?
He has done.
Because it's just not my job to tell. I'm not a black man that's going to tear another black man down. Let them do that.
How many of y'all fucking with Puffy? Hello? Good morning. Hello? Good morning. Fuck that nigga.
Even after all the insane amounts of information regarding Diddy got leaked, the 50 Cent documentary, which was just dropped on Netflix, exposes yet again an entirely different side of what we thought we knew of the business mongol Sean Diddy Combs. Now, before we touch on all the accusations and rumors centered around Diddy, I actually want to take things back a little bit and really focus on the big why behind this entire beef. Simply because the hatred and animosity felt in this beef is beyond anything I've ever experienced within my lifetime or within my entire career. Curtis Jackson almost has a Kendrick Lamar level of hatred for Diddy, and yet the question still stands. Where does this level of hatred stem from? First, I want to shout out Hip Hop Daily, since most of the information I have from this early beef comes from their channel. So definitely go ahead, slide on over there and show them a little bit of love. However, after watching multiple videos, doing a little bit of research, I've discovered that 50 Cent has actually been dissing Diddy for the past 20 years. More specifically, on his debut album, Power of the Dollar, there's a song called How to Rob where 50 Cent blatantly admits he'll just straight up take Puffy's girl. I mean, shoot, 50 Cent even mocked Diddy and said if you want your girl back, go ahead and dance your ass down to the nearest ATM. Now, initially, this could be seen as more of a calculated move by Curtis to go build up hype and gain attention. First off, you have to remember, this was back in 1999, and at the time, Bad Boy Records dominated the charts with more of a soft pop rap type style and a whole lot of dancing. On the outside looking in, I think it's safe to assume that 50 Cent hated that shit. 50 Cent was more of a raw and street-oriented character. What he represented in his music was the complete and polar opposite of Diddy, and in How to Rob, 50 Cent definitely made that perspective clear, which, as you'll see, he continues to do time and time again whenever he gets the opportunity or chance. Not only making fun of Diddy's dance moves, but also repeatedly reminding the world that Diddy was never a tough guy or a gangster.
What do you think of the psychology, 50? Because in getting to know you, I've learned that you could have been a full-time psychologist and done very well with that. You have a keen eye for people. Fair?
Oh yeah, I try.
Mr. Burroughs makes the argument that Diddy was overcompensating, that he wasn't initially actually a tough guy.
Right.
And then there's the old saying, be careful who you pretend to be, you might become them.
This is true.
Did that happen to him in your view?
I'm not sure if that's what transpired, but because I don't know him to be tough. We haven't even had problems.
However, even after the initial diss, 50 Cent would still end up ghostwriting for Puffy only 2 years after his debut album. During this time, it is said that 50 Cent was supposed to sign to the Bad Boys label.
Let me tell you one of the most funniest stories.
Yeah.
This is when P. Diddy could have signed 50.
Wow.
We in the office. It's me and 50. But 50, I don't think he gonna went in there with the intentions to sign with Diddy.
Right.
He just went in there just seeing whatever deals he can get.
Right.
You know, some deals.
Seeing his power.
Yeah, we in a minivan, no AC, hammers. He turning out millions of dollars. I'm like, why? I'm like, nigga, take the money. So he seen Diddy. I know he wasn't gonna sign to Diddy, but he took the meeting. And I never forgot, P. Diddy said, yo, rappers got the 3 B's. Bank accounts, Bentleys, and bitches.
Hey.
You a target. So I took that, like, so I'm in the meeting.
Oh, he said that to 50.
He's telling 50, like, yo, I can't sign you. You know, you got beef with Preem and all that. A lot of niggas in the street, you know, a lot of niggas in the industry don't want to deal with the Preem beef. It's understandable if you don't want to do it. Eminem took the step, shout to him.
But unfortunately, things never fell through because of the ongoing beef centered around both 50 Cent and Supreme. You see, 50 Cent and Supreme have a history that go way back, and it's actually said that Supreme had a hand in 50 Cent's shooting. Just to help you get a better understanding, both Supreme and 50 Cent hailed from Queens. Diddy was a Harlem nigga, but at the end of the day, these were all New York niggas, so they knew each other. And since Supreme couldn't actually kill 50 Cent, he decided to gatekeep him. This was done in an attempt to stifle 50 Cent and make sure he could never start his music career. To say if this incident specifically is what caused tension between the two is unknown. What is known is that only a year after ghostwriting for Diddy, 50 Cent would go right back to his old ways and start back dissing. On a Biggie Smalls remix, which in itself is pretty diabolical if you know the history behind it, obviously Biggie being signed to Diddy, 50 Cent disrespectfully reminded the world about how, again, he is not a dancer like Diddy. Pushing things a little bit further, 50 Cent would again mock Diddy and say that he don't want problems really, and could even get sprayed by Mac Millie, which in my opinion is a funny thing to say when you're dissing somebody, but it worked for 50 Cent. You know, those are his words, not mine. Anyways, these are pretty basic shots being thrown, but no real life beef seemed to be transpiring from these lyrics at the time. However, the piece didn't last too long, and all hell broke loose again when 50 Cent tried to sign Mace.
G-Unit was a deal that you guys tried to make happen. What went wrong with that deal?
You want the honest answer?
That's
what we're on there for.
Yeah.
You know why it didn't go through. Diddy didn't let it go through.
That's
the reason it didn't go through. He wanted 50 to give him all of the money he thought I owed him. And I thought he owed me money, so that was always the underlying battle.
Diddy, of course, wasn't having it, wasn't feeling it behind closed doors, but in public, he was letting it be known that he was fine with it. And for a while, people thought Mace might actually sign the G-Unit. But unfortunately, this never happened, and Diddy made it extremely difficult for Mace to be released into G-Unit label. Actually, later on down the line, we find out Mace gave up on music entirely just because he was tired of being around and dealing with Diddy.
Right decision leaving rap?
I did. Everything now that we see playing out was all the things I escaped. The car, the shine, the loon, the Puff Daddy, the Craig Mack,
Biggie Smalls.
the Biggie Smalls. So even though I made those decisions and it cost me money, that's why I got with Killer and they gave me the money back.
Mace went full preacher mode, just abandoned the mic and went to go become a pastor for a little bit, which is all cool because during this time 50 Cent would again send more shots at Diddy in his song Window Shopper, with bars that flew right over everyone's head until he clarified it later on in more recent interviews. The song did not only target Diddy's lavish lifestyle and perceived lack of authenticity, but also pretty much called him out for sleeping with other men, which I did not know when I first heard this song. And that blows my mind the more and more I think about it, because that would insinuate that for years 50 Cent has been trying to warn / tell us that Diddy is different, at the least. But hey, who am I to judge? Once the deal with Mace went left, 50 Cent would again diss Diddy, but this time with very harsh accusations. This time in a song called Hip Hop, 50 Cent would just flat out accuse Diddy of being involved in Biggie's murder. But of course, that's not all. He continued to mock Diddy yet again for dancing so much, and he even alluded to the freak-offs as far back as 2006, saying he guessed he won't be invited to the white parties in the Hamptons. And just in case that wasn't enough, 50 Cent also went as far as to bring up Diddy's current partner at that time, Misa, stating that he had information on Diddy that she herself shared with him. And by the way it was brought up, it can definitely be insinuated that 50 was very much willing to expose and put all of Diddy's business out on the front street. Now, the information he could have had is only speculated, but it is assumed that 50 Cent was very well aware of the domestic violence and just how brutal Sean Diddy Combs was behind closed doors. However, yet again, nothing happened, Diddy never responded, and they would continue to put their differences to the side and work on more music in the future. That is until Rick Ross got involved. You see, Diddy was trying to manage Rick Ross early on in his career, but Rick Ross made the unfortunate decision to diss 50 Cent after, I guess, a bad look exchange at an award show. And this would no doubt come with extreme consequences. Just to keep things brief, 50 Cent went and interviewed Rick Ross's baby mama, exposing Rick Ross for being a fraud, kind of similar to how he interviewed the victims of Diddy, all in an effort to bring a bigger picture to the light. But that's not all. For the first time, we see 50 step out of the booth and begin doing interviews slandering both Rick Ross and Diddy on a consecutive basis. Diddy finally responds to all this dissing and negativity by clapping back and naming his new group the Supreme Team, and that was pretty much naming his group after the guy who did what he did to 50 Cent. So I'm pretty sure, as you can probably guess, 50 Cent obviously did not take too well to this at all and went back on interviews stating that Diddy had ghostwriters and isn't really a true artist. He advocated for Diddy to stop using the Notorious B.I.G.'s name and even went as far as to flat out call Diddy a bitch at the BET Awards.
Wait. Wait a minute. You know everybody's still talking about after the fact, though, the after party. Do you think that Diddy was coming at you, though?
Who, Diddy?
Yeah, because, he said some slick shit. Like,
what? Because, Puffy's like a bitch.
Oh, shit, man. What'd he say?
To describe Puffy in one word is a bitch, right?
Nigga, don't act like a bitch.
Now from then on, Diddy and 50 Cent clearly had deep-seated hatred for each other. And one thing I noticed about this beef, everything Diddy did to 50 Cent was always behind closed doors, behind the scenes. We never saw it, where 50 Cent was very advocate about the way he felt. He didn't mind speaking his mind and saying the things that he thought about Diddy. Diddy was just a little bit more discreet. He would go on to completely slut out one of 50 Cent's baby mothers, and in retaliation, 50 would go on to release an overly exposing documentary on Diddy regarding his current allegations. You see, unbeknownst to the public, or to Diddy I'm sure, 50 had been secretly stockpiling evidence that would not only discredit but dismantle Diddy's entire career.
50 Cent produced a documentary about Diddy that he's apparently been working on for a decade. And it has episodes. I've never hated someone for episodes. That's what every person I've ever hated has been a very short story. I'm just like, oh, we don't really get along, feel like they betrayed me, and that's about it. 50 Cent sat the world down for 4 episodes. This is crazy. 4 episodes.
While Diddy was behind the scenes getting back at 50 Cent, 50 Cent had a much larger, way more devastating agenda. It can be assumed that because of how much Diddy tried to gatekeep 50 Cent early on in his career, from not really wanting to sign him to not trying to sign over Mace, this is simply 50 Cent getting his revenge from all those years ago. Crush Your Enemy Totally is Law 15 from Robert Greene's influential book, The 48 Laws of Power, and 50 Cent, of course, collaborated with Greene on The 50th Law of Power, a book about fearlessness, which incorporates themes from Greene's work, including the idea of decisively dealing with threats to prevent future attacks. A principle 50 Cent is clearly exemplifying now. In my personal opinion, I feel like had Diddy been found guilty of all charges, 50 Cent may have actually included more daunting evidence in the documentary. Only so much could be said in the documentary before it starts to look one-sided or like a total slander campaign towards Diddy. I say that to say, after watching the documentary, do you feel anything was possibly left out? Could there be more to this situation than what we're just being led to believe? Could 50 Cent have more damaging evidence against Diddy? That's just something I want you guys to ponder on as I bring up the allegations brought upon Diddy. And they are as followed: having a long history of domestic violence, even at one point potentially striking down his own mother, being involved in the murder of both Tupac and Biggie, heavily intoxicating and committing SA on both males and females, forcing members of his crew to take the fall for crimes they did not commit, and having an odd obsession for baby oil and baby making fluid. As of now, Diddy is still completing his sentence, and as of the making of this video, the beef still seems to be on and brewing. And before we wrap this up, I just wanted to leave you off with not only some of his victims, but a lot of the assumed willing participants in a lot of these freak-offs in which Diddy held. And that pretty much ends the video. If you liked what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. This is definitely my first video, so we're gonna try and do better with time. But as of now, thank you guys for watching, taking our time. Appreciate y'all. Peace.